Here's what's making news now around Indiana. In Fort Wayne, developers of the $440 million Electric Works Mixed-Use Innovation District at the former GE campus are again asking for more time to secure financing. RTM Ventures made a formal request to extend its economic development agreement with various city and county agencies. And Mayor Tom Henry says he supports the extension. Also, the state has confirmed that Electric Works is, quote, close to finalizing terms with an anchor tenant. And in a letter, the state reconfirmed its commitment to that project. Well, what started as a hobby in a tiny workshop behind Trampus Young's LOGANSPORT home, it's turned into a big hit among some baseball players around the country. Young learned how to make bats about 8 years ago, and just 3 years later, he started Titan Bat Company. Last year, Titan produced and sold 3,000 bats. He expects that number to double this year. This spring, Titan Bat will move into a 5,000 square foot facility to keep up with growing demand. Michigan-based plumbing supply company GENOVA Products is closing 2 of its facilities in Indiana. That decision to affect about 116 workers in Fort Wayne, another 89 at a location in Rensselaer. The company says it has not been able to secure further funding to continue operating, and efforts to find a partner were not successful. Well, the Fisher's Test Kitchen is officially open for business. And as our Mary Rachel Redman reports, the new restaurant accelerator has its sights set on helping to grow Indy's budding culinary scene, one chef at a time.
The culinary scene in central Indiana is booming. And to help continue that momentum, the city of Fishers is one of a handful of cities in the country to open a culinary accelerator, in hopes of growing a pipeline of local chefs.
We chose 3 young chefs who wanted to test a concept, create their own restaurant. We have 3 completely independent restaurants working within the Fisher's Test Kitchen. So this gives them a chance to build a following, kind of refine what they're doing. We have tried to kind of de-risk the process of opening a restaurant in hopes that we can help create more restaurants and build the culinary community.
And that's exactly what Test Kitchen chef Carlos Salazar says he plans to do.
I want multiple restaurants, whether it's in the north side, obviously I want in the north side, back in Fountain Square, just all over Indy. You know, I'm not looking to go anywhere else. I want to stay in Indy. I want to grow with Indy, with the food scene, and I want to make it better.
One of our biggest contributions is going to be that we're capturing the imagination, not only of our locals, the chefs, the businesses, and the communities, but we're also capturing the attention of those that are visiting Indianapolis maybe for the first time, or contemplating relocation of a business, or maybe adding a new flight from Indianapolis to another location. When they see what's happening here in the innovation economy, plus what's happening in culinary, I think it makes the whole region that much more viable to everyone.
Even the airport sees the positive impact a strong local culinary scene is having on the region.
We've seen a lot of excitement from our guests from around the world to experience the culinary scene. You may know that we've been rated nationally as it relates to the food scene. A lot of national magazines have focused in on the importance of the food scene. And if you take that even further from an economic impact, we're such an agricultural-based state. And so for the ag community to then tie into the culinary scene, it brings culture, it brings business, and it brings it all together.
And Gary, talking about bringing business to the city,
right.
The Big Routes Conference is here. That's been here this past week. One of the deciding factors, they were really impressed with Indy's culinary scene.
Right, yeah.
So it's attracting businesses and people to the city.
And more people want locally owned restaurants, and that means that demand for chefs increasing. Fishers, entrepreneurial, innovative city, they're kind of a launching pad now maybe for some of these chefs.
Exactly, and the Test Kitchen is the perfect place to start because you don't take on all that risk that you would if you were opening up your own restaurant.
Interesting story. Thanks, Mary Rachel, as always.